The next morning we woke to a thin, cold sunlight. We all had terrible hangovers, and the tough herdsmen were finishing off the remains of the rice wine. We drank 13 bottles. But we thought that the night was a great success, and it only cost me 65 Australian dollars, and Mr. Bao got to keep the sheepskin. Back in Bao To, we visited the steelworks where Mr. Bao worked. That's the vice president. He's quite high up in the ladder, but you'll notice that his room is quite modest, certainly no bigger in size than the room of the lowly clerk. Here are some of the workers. Mr. Bao wasn't allowed to change his job, although he could visit Australia for 18 months and return to it. And I got the idea that he wasn't allowed to travel freely either. I was in the foundry, walking around taking photographs. There were no safety precautions or restrictions put on me when they began to pour the steel. We went into the workers' dining room where there was a giant painting of Zhou Enlai opening a section of the steelworks. And the kitchen staff came out to greet me. But I was whisked away to a smaller VIP dining room, and here the cooks told me that they'd prepared a special meal for me because they were so glad I'd come so far to visit them. And I realized that was my main function in China. I was always the excuse for a party. This girl was introduced to me as winning second prize in a literary competition, and we got on well. But this photograph wasn't taken at the steelworks. This photograph was taken later that night when I did a slideshow and she and her boyfriend dressed up to come along. But back at the steelworks, she asked me if I'd like to sign the visitor's book. And I said, "Oh, sure, but what's everybody else written?" She translated. They were all slogans. Great steelworks, glory to China. I decided I'd be an individual and I'd write in the visitor's book as if it were a page in my diary. The only dilemma that I had was whether or not I'd write my name in Chinese, which I could just do. But everybody else had such fine calligraphic hands, and in China they judge you by your handwriting, and mine was so babyish, kindergarten. Nevertheless, I did it. And the girl read what I'd written and she said, "What you've written's very interesting." And I said, "Why's that?" She said, "You've communicated your feelings to the workers and they like you." I said, "I think they like me because I look Chinese." And she said, "That's true. The blood of China runs in your veins." And so it was here, in the workers' common room of the Bao To Steelworks, that I had the experience I'd come to China to have. When the girl who's third from the left, whose name I forget, when she said those words to me, I was overcome by a fierce emotion, which I'll describe as homecoming. I'd come back to my second home.